What would you do? If your school went into lockdown, but the person hiding inside your classroom was not a student. It was Thursday. 7th period. Last period before dismissal. The bell that meant one more class left always came with a different kind of happiness. For the first time all day, even the dead quiet kids in the class were smiling. Because tomorrow was Friday, and after Friday was a long weekend. Our teacher, Mr. Collins, wasn't even teaching anymore. We already submitted our weekly calculus quiz in the first 10 minutes. For the rest of the period, he said we could chill. Everyone was on their phones or whisper talking. I remember those tiny details clearly, because seconds later, every normal detail of the world became nightmare energy. The announcement speaker popped. We expected. Teachers, you may release students at the bell type thing. Instead, the dean's voice came through, cracked voice, breathing heavy, and he said 5 words nobody wants to hear inside a school. This is a real lockdown. The entire room froze. No one even breathed loudly. Mr. Collins immediately jumped up. Lights off. Blinds down. Door locked. He moved us to the back corner behind the supply cupboard. Phones went on silent mode instantly. He whispered, no movement, no talking. And we sat there. Minutes had a different weight now. 1 minute felt like 15. About 3 minutes in, we heard footsteps in the hallway. Slow, heavy, dragging. Someone was out there, and then something absolutely horrifying. The footsteps stopped, right outside our door. There was no speaking, just breathing. Someone breathing on the other side of the door. And then the doorknob slowly turned. Everyone in our group just watched that metal handle twist. It kept turning and turning. The locked latch inside was the only thing between us and whatever was out there. Suddenly, the knob stopped turning, and whoever was out there began tapping on the window and the door. Finger tapping, like they were thinking about something. One girl today still has anxiety from that exact tapping sound. We waited for that person to try to force the door, but instead, they just walked away. We waited in silence for what felt like 20 minutes. Then the announcement speaker again. Not the dean this time. A female voice. She said, "Students remain hidden. We are confirming suspect location." We had no idea if this was real or a trick. At some point, Mr. Collins took out his phone and texted the teacher group chat. "Is that announcement legit?" "No." Reply. One boy in our class, quietly leaning against the wall, suddenly whispered, "Someone is in here." All of us turned our heads toward the storage supply cabinet behind us. The sliding cabinet wasn't fully shut. There was a visible gap. A pair of eyes were looking through that crack. Someone was already in the classroom before we even went into lockdown. A hand slowly came out from that gap, reached toward the floor. Mr. Collins pointed his phone light at the cabinet gap. Inside the cabinet was a grown woman, middle-aged, disoriented. Face wet like she had been crying, she whispered. "I was trying to hide. Please don't scream." She was not armed. She didn't try to attack. She just kept saying, "He's looking for me." We still don't know who he was. Seconds later, the real announcement came. Police have suspect in custody. Remain in place for escort. Within 5 minutes, 2 officers opened our classroom door and escorted the woman out first. Later we learned, she wasn't staff. She wasn't a parent. She wasn't a stranger who just came to harm kids. She was someone being stalked by a man, and she ran into the school to hide. But the stalker followed her inside. That was the suspect police arrested. Till today, I still remember that tapping on the classroom door window. Because now I am almost sure it wasn't random tapping. He was scanning rooms to find her.